Welcome to Never Too Serious with Scott and Dave. I'm Scott.
And I'm Dave.
And today we have a special guest. Amy is joining us.
Hello, hello.
And she is continuing the story here with Scientology, because it is a fascinating subject.
Right.
It's amazing that what they've done, because what was it? You were saying $1 billion.
Oh.
You know, I think that there are over $2 billion in overall assets and cash value.
Right.
And like over 90% of it's in properties.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and a lot of it is because a lot of their congregation have taken out loans. So that billions of dollars that they have is because everybody else, all their congregations in debt for it.
Trying to do like the fast track up, take out a loan.
I think Leah Remini said that she spent millions of dollars because when she started becoming famous and getting good jobs and stuff, doing King of Queens, she was paying for her moms, she was paying for her, she was paying for
But I think she was proud of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
she probably even donated and stuff, I think, because
and
she was super happy about being a part of, and I know a lot as people today is still about being a part of this.
Well, their goal is
program
is to have, this peaceful world where there's no crime, there's no warfare, all this stuff. So there's like this, this idea that we could have this utopia, and you just need to keep doing the classes and become better, get rid of the thetans, keep giving us more money. The other thing is the side of they don't pay their employees.
I know.
They work almost for free.
Almost.
Right.
They give them like $5 a week or something. It's crazy. And this was a while ago, so I don't know what it is now. It's maybe $14.72.
$15
but
an hour.
They're probably taxing them on it though, right?
Yeah.
But and then a lot of these people the Sea Org, which is kind of different. It's kind of like their clergy of the religion.
It's the staff side of it.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like if you were to think of the people that run it.
The reverend, the ones that keep the books,
I just don't understand what they do all day. They're working like 12, 14-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing all day?
I know what they do.
You sit in front of a computer?
No,
they don't do.
They're counting cash and weighing cocaine. That's what they're doing in there. I mean, what else do you? That's a valid question. What are they doing?
They don't allow drugs.
No,
that's one of the funny
drugs,
things.
no
but they'll sell it to the sinners out there, the non-believers.
Yeah, I guess there's always a side benefit to all these cults, right?
Yeah.
So the Sea Org that you were talking about, the history behind it is that L Ron Hubbard was evading his taxes, and as he was trying to get, the status of a nonprofit church, he didn't pay any taxes. He was wanted by the feds, and so in order to get away from that, he bought some ships and was a captain of these ships. The Commodore is what they call him.
Oh, yep.
And this was a way for him to get away from paying all of these taxes and stuff.
Because he's out in the sea.
And he's out in the sea. And so he called the organization that was out there supporting him the Sea Org.
Yep.
That's where they originally started.
And he looked at he had the whole uniform
Yes,
set
he
up.
did.
It's because he really didn't get, like, his whole Navy career stuff is all such bullshit. And he really wanted to be a Navy captain.
He's like, well, I'm going to do it.
I'm just going to make it up myself.
I tell you,
all their uniforms are all
the
similar.
props to the guy that he's like, you know what? Not only can I write these fake ass books, I can live this fake ass life, and guess what?
And make everybody
living
believe
it better than most.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, so the Sea Org people, he didn't pay them. They were on there maintaining the ships, doing all of this work for him, and not having to pay them. So he just kept amassing money.
Right.
In fact, I have a clip here. Let me look for the clip. I'll play it. It's kind of interesting. It talks about his financial status. There was a kind of like a documentary or a news crew way back in the day, a British crew, and they were interviewing him. Actually got a rare interview, and I think it's like a 25-minute interview, and there's a lot of little tidbits that's pretty interesting. And this is old stuff, so I'm going to play that clip.
But it's probably, Scott, this is probably going to be telling us that he's like already a zillionaire in Xenu bucks.
Xenu bucks.
You know,
I'm
dang well,
surprised. I'm
he
really
doesn't come up
surprised
with
he
his
doesn't
own
have his own
currency.
money,
That's what
right?
I mean. Why not? He was like, he probably would if
He
was
probably was like, dang it, I didn't think about that.
That's really
got
funny.
your Xenu bucks.
There's another famous religion actually started their own currency.
Really?
Yeah. The Mormons had their own currency when they started.
Did they?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Very interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
All right, I'm gonna play.
Yes.
I'm gonna play this. He talks about the interviewer's asking him kind of a little bit about where he's getting all.
And
his
he's wearing
money.
his Sunday best too.
There are no professional sailors. He pays them just enough for cigarettes and sweets, but they pay him rather more. The new advanced courses cost something more than £1,000 plus keep, payable to an account in the name of Hubbard's present wife. If all 250 people have signed for these advanced courses, which according to Hubbard can be completed in weeks, days, and even hours, that makes over £250,000. The scrapers could be scraping for quite some
Scrapers
time.
are the people on the boat.
They've been asked to sign a contract for 1 billion years.
And they have to be on there for a billion
You have
years.
retired from Scientology. You're now on a very smart and splendid ship. Well, what are you doing on this ship?
I don't think the Labor government ought to know this because they don't approve of loafing, but I'm loafing.
What are you loafing on? On what proceeds? Where did you get all the money to loaf?
Well, one tends to overlook the fact that all during the 30s and actually during the late 40s, I was a highly successful writer, and that a great many properties and so on accumulated during that period of time.
Is that really where the money for all this comes from?
Yes, yes.
Right. Oh, he's so
One of the
creepy.
things...
It doesn't come from the Scientologists at St. Hill.
No, the Scientologists at St. Hill. As a matter of fact, I wish I had the bill here to show you.
St. Hill is
We added up
like
over
a
the
church
years
in
what
in,
monies I had
England.
loaned organizations and what monies of mine personally, royalties and so on, had been collected by Scientology organizations, and the amount of money paid out for research, and it amounts to $13 million.
He's so smug about it.
That's a fantastic sum of money.
But
Because
it's not enough. He wants
the other thing that we hear about are
Don't
things
zoom
like
in.
Swiss bank accounts, the Pictet Bank, that
Don't look at
kind
his
of thing.
teeth.
I was gonna say $13 million. You can't even fix your dang
There's a
teeth.
great temptation to believe
What you got
that
the money
your
for?
yacht
You're not
and
gonna
the
fix
standard
yourself
of
up.
life to which you're now accustomed is paid for by Scientologists in England.
The amounts of money in Switzerland are minimal. Very small amount of money in Switzerland.
Where do you have Swiss bank accounts?
I don't have Swiss bank accounts. There is a bank account in Switzerland. I don't know how much money is in it, but not very much.
I don't have Swiss bank accounts, but I have one.
I do have one. Not much in
I
it.
can't stop looking at his mouth.
He just ate
Because I
some
don't
licorice.
take any income. These days, in days of income tax, it's almost impossible to take any income.
So your capital, that did come from the Scientologists.
No. No, the Scientologists, and so on. Actually, it's what I tell you is quite true.
Yes, but
It's what
the only
He just,
problem I
he just
have
goes
with that
on.
is you have
The thing is that you can tell he's just making stuff up. He's such a
Right.
liar.
Right. He probably doesn't even know what is truth and what is a lie at this point, anyways.
Yeah, I have Swiss bank accounts,
But I don't.
but I don't have Swiss bank accounts.
And what I tell you is the truth.
Oh, he's just so full of it. And
Yeah.
and this interview is actually very, very, I think, informative because the guy calls him on this stuff, and you can see his face and how he
His reactions to
evades, evades answering it, truthfully.
Well, that's probably why he didn't give very many interviews, because he was like, I don't want to be put on the spot.
No, think about most of the other religions of the world. You don't get to see interviews of their prophet.
Oh.
L Ron Hubbard is the prophet of Scientology. He's the one where all of this stuff has been revealed to.
That's right. That lucky winner right there.
It would be interesting to hear who has gained, not monetarily, but has anybody gotten anything good out of it?
Tom Cruise.
Well,
I mean,
But like any just like regular Joes that are in there going, man, this is the best thing.
Are
like,
yes,
like that they love it. Like,
well, they're kicking the thetans off, man. They're probably feeling better, feeling less anxious.
Yeah,
getting to things are coming. Good things are coming their way after the thetans are gone.
The
Thetans.
Dang it.
Think about self-help though. I think that there's some major things to gain out of just positive self-talk. If you're always down, talking yourself down, things just tend to be down. And if you
the law of attraction.
Yeah, if you're positive about stuff, you have a good take on life, a lot of things kind of go well. This is on top of that, you're now listening to someone else kind of work through some baggage that you might have. And when you get a chance to kind of vent and talk about your baggage and get it off your chest, sometimes that's kind of a
well, yeah, but
it's
this
a
guy's
positive
just
thing.
Completely just dismissing everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, of course, ultimately, it's still BS.
Yeah. He's not getting any good, psychiatric help.
The people going in for the auditing, the auditing. Do they know that just going to a psychiatrist or a counselor is like 1 million times cheaper?
Yeah, but they're taught,
which is weird as hell to say.
But they're taught again, like you said before, that those are the suppressive people.
Right.
In this the structure for the members, they go through all these different levels that we've kind of touched a little bit on, but they have all these like secret terms, and I had to go through the Going Clear documentary to learn about some of these different terms. It's worth a watch. It's a couple hour documentary, I guess is what they call it.
See,
but
I
it's
don't
very
keep
good.
Watching that stuff, it's going to talk me into it.
I got your back, Dave.
I'm weak, man. I'm weak.
I want to go through a couple of the little terms here and kind of give you an idea. Some of this stuff came out in his original Dianetics book, and then when he later expanded and wrote a bunch more self-help books and topics like what we talked about on marriage and some other things, he then expanded to some of these terms. And some of these terms are just terms that are related to dealing with his members that have left and are now talking poorly about him. So, Dave, you mentioned earlier about EMeters. The EMeter is supposedly 1/3 of a lie detector test. And a lie detector test monitors your heart rate, your respiration, and it sends this current through your body that kind of detects levels of different electrical activity, which is heightened during emotional times. This EMeter, the Scientologists really believe that the EMeter is detecting memories, not
that's right,
emotion, but actual memories. And they call these memories engrams. That's their term. Sounds
I've heard that.
Science fiction-y, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we talked about auditing, the auditor, person who's doing the auditing, the EMeter. The OT, we were talking about OT levels. OT is operating thetan. So these are those beings inside your body that you're trying to talk away. We have a body thetan. That's a BT. Same thing we were talking about, just
But that's right. You just talk them away. They'll just come right back, though. You can't kill the damn things. I mean, they've put them in the volcano, sandwiched them.
And then blew them up with an H-bomb.
Yeah, and you just talk them away. You're like, get out of here. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Well, that's how it's supposed to work. But there's so many thetans in your body, it's hard to get rid of all of them. They have this term they call disconnect. One of the things about a lot of cults is they go through this process of disconnecting from your loved ones who are trying to actually bring some sense to you about, hey, you're in a cult, by the way.
Right.
And so they have this term called disconnect. What was the religion that... Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness.
They do a lot of this. Yeah. Very damaging to
Which
families.
is interesting.
Yep, true.
I never knew that because, I mean, I didn't know any Jehovah's Witnesses growing up. I don't remember anybody in my class. And from what I've heard from watching one of Leah Remini's shows is that they're not allowed to become friends with people outside their religion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very strict, but they want to recruit.
Yeah.
Recruiting's one. Yeah,
that's weird.
Mm-hmm. So. It's really the people who are anti the religion that they have to disconnect from.
Yeah.
the people who still have the opportunity or the potential to become part of that
Right.
cult or
well,
religion.
and there's a lot of fear in it too. Same with this. Maybe not so much with Scientology, whereas like Jehovah's Witnesses is all about like controlling them by fear, where this is trying to control them by like, oh, just get to the next level, get to the like the unknown, I guess.
More and more answers that they're looking for.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of these cults, they go through this where they kind of suck you in. You got to stick around to achieve this next thing.
Well, it almost sounds like how this like a scam. You know how scammers get some people. It's particularly an older people where they call them up and then they give them, hey, give me $3,000, please, and then we'll give you, for $13,000. And then they do it, and she gets $13,000, and they say, well, listen, give us 30, and they'll do it again. But anyways, they keep going, and even when they figure it out, they will still do it just because it's
easy mark.
No, they'll still give money even though they realize it's a scam, and it's just I don't know. It's not it's like a sickness. You know?
It is a kind of a brainwashing.
Yeah.
They have this thing that's called a squirrel.
Oh, that's right.
And a squirrel, they're the member who is, they've left the church and now they're talking poorly about it.
I've never heard that term in there.
That's there's a guy, what was his name? Mike Rinder.
Oh, I love Mike Rinder.
Yeah, so he's one of the leaders of Scientology who left. He's considered a squirrel.
Right. Him and Leah Remini did a show together, going and talking to ex-members and divulging so much information. You should watch that. That's a really good. Yeah. I think it was about 8 or 10 episodes.
He spoke up on the terrible acts he did.
Right. He owned it himself,
and he's trying
was
to
a part
give back to help out others that are stuck. So
he's got
I could really appreciate that because it takes a lot. A lot of other people just
but he
wouldn't say anything.
He was not a great guy when he was in the church and just.
Well, there's this group called the Squirrel Busters. So these are the people who are still in the church who harass the squirrels.
Oh, right.
So they go out and they slash tires, they spy on people.
They drive by their houses and they stalk them and
Well, if I remember it right.
And they know each other too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
That's true.
I know that's weird.
Jimmy, get the hell off the board.
Well, Mike Rinder used to be one of those people, and now he is being chased by them.
That's
but
right.
I think if I remember it right, the reason why the government finally approved of their
tax
status was because these people were going after not just FBI, like the group. They were going after these people individually at their homes and terrorizing them and following them. And so they found it was like a they were just
give it to them.
Right, yeah. What's the word I'm looking for?
Harassment?
Well,
just harassing them to the point where they were just finally like, okay, give in.
Yeah, so I have notes on here. 1967 is when Hubbard originally tried to get tax exempt status.
Right.
And, of course, that turned into him getting his boats and taking off, right? And then so he died in, I think it was 80-something. In 1993 is when the IRS finally approved the taxes exempt status.
Right.
And it was because the Scientologists had mounted a massive campaign of suing the IRS and the IRS agents.
That's right. That's
personally.
What it was. Yes.
Yeah.
They were going to sue them personally, individually
for different things. And there were so many lawsuits. I think they said it was over 1,200 lawsuits.
Yeah.
And so Scientology basically pressured the head of the IRS to basically give them the status, and they would drop every single one of those cases.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did.
It probably would have been cheaper if they would have took those cases.
I thought they were trying to save the world and everybody be better and everything's so peachy keen. I'm surprised they were being bullies.
Well, you know what happened?
Interesting.
Once they got their tax exempt status, all of those rich people could donate to the Church of Scientology and get a tax write-off.
Oh.
And it blew up. Like, they had so much money coming in.
Wow.
And they had lawsuits that were, people were suing Scientology ex-members and whatnot. And the members who were donating actually started donating for litigation funds to then fight against the people who are suing Scientology.
Wow. Yeah.
Crazy.
It is crazy. Oh my goodness.
It's a mess.
Again, it goes back to how do y'all have the energy for it? It's like so much responsibility.
Yeah, it's like if one guy just decides to sleep in, that whole thing's falling apart.
Hey, if that's your life, I mean. So after L Ron Hubbard died, David Miscavige took over. And in fact, he was kind of running the show while L Ron Hubbard was sick and in hiding.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, how you said it. He took over. Mm-hmm. He may have.
No, I think that's what happened. Is he did kind of just take over.
Yeah, because I think there was somebody else that was supposed to be kind of the next.
It wouldn't surprise me if what's his name, Mike Rinder, or one of the other guys who was leading, because they were like kind of the number 2 people.
Right. Yeah.
But David Miscavige, he kind of grew up in like the Sea Org and was right there with.
He was L Ron Hubbard's like.
And this
guy, cabin boy.
This guy dove. This guy dove all in, though. You know what I mean?
I think if I remember right, like I said, it's been a while since I've really dived into it, but he was with L Ron Hubbard when he passed, and he like came out of the room or something and said something about he
made an announcement.
Yeah. He wanted me. It was given to him in a vision. Blah blah blah.
And he said,
I'm supposed to be the next guy running the show. Yeah. And everybody's like, wait, what?
Yeah, he said.
This is. What was that? One more time.
I could have it wrong. I wasn't really there.
That's hilarious.
Could have went something like that.
That's a good reenactment.
But yeah, it was nobody expected it to happen like that. Yeah. And David Miscavige is a whole nother kind of crazy.
I know. He actually makes that other guy kind of like
somewhat normal.
Bring back the weirdo.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we were talking earlier about David Miscavige's dad got him into Scientology. David Miscavige's dad, Ron Miscavige, was in it before.
Regretfully got him into it.
And then, now he's out of it, and he's so regretful because he's
David
been disconnected.
He won't even call him, won't talk to him.
Even when he was in... When
he had to call him sir.
He had to call his own son sir. And there was I had read the book that his dad wrote, and he had mentioned something about he had called him David at one point, or Dave.
Oh, right.
And the guy came unglued on his own dad. But interesting is how his dad got out was all David's fault. Because Dave Miscavige's fault, because he gave him an iPad that had internet access. So
Dave and I were talking about that earlier. It's like
he shot himself in the foot on that one.
It's so funny.
Dumbass.
He goes, son, did you realize? Oh,
yeah.
It's so funny.
But that also goes to show how you give probably any of them that little tidbit. They want to know. Mm-hmm. I mean, he looked it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he was trying to look up anything bad. I don't know if I'm correct. I don't even think he was expecting to see anything bad.
I don't think he was either.
But the point is he knows he wasn't supposed to be online.
Right.
But the point, so I'm getting at is the second they're going to get a hold of it, they're going to look it up, and they're going to find it like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of North Korean-ish, you know what I mean?
We have access to such great information now at our fingertips.
Right.
A lot of old cults that turn into established religions, there wasn't any other information other than what was provided by the prophet.
Right.
So they couldn't really go and verify that any of it was true. They just had to believe in what the prophet had presented. For Scientology, it's such a new religion, in quotes, that there's so much information that can persuade you away from joining.
Right.
They said,
I know they try to get new people because they like offer like a free audit session, like figure out here. They call it a stress test. Mm-hmm. They like walk by their buildings and they're like, you want a free stress test? Oh sure. And then they're like, okay,
Spinal Tap.
Mm-hmm. Their methods right now it's really pretty interesting because they use such incredible recruitment tools and the media, the videos. If you go on their YouTube page, there are a whole bunch of really well done videos.
Well, yeah, because they have a whole department that's just dedicated to that. That's what Ron Miscavige was a part of, is the video.
The media side.
Yeah.
Seriously, their stuff is really well done.
Yeah.
The like recruitment videos, the stuff that they give out, and that also then explains some of the different parts of the religion. They have a couple that talk about the dynamics. These are 8 different dynamics that are part of their belief system, and they have the videos that support it, and it just like sucks you in. You're like, oh wow, this is great stuff. And they're doing more and more of this, really, I think, pretty successfully, to sort of mask the bad information that exists.
Right. They're trying to do damage control.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of the membership numbers, they were talking about they have over 1 million members worldwide, and folks like Leah Remini and what's the other guy? No, Richter. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I always forget his name.
Me too.
Mike
Rinder.
Rinder, there you go. He was saying that their membership is actually more like 50,000.
Yeah, like their numbers are completely
like
off.
Inflated.
Yeah.
But they keep that, close to the vest. They don't tell people.
Right, because if people knew there was only 50,000 people, that it wouldn't be as...
But the church is worth over $2 billion, I think. With a B, $1 billion.
Yeah, they should just, liquidate and, break it up and pass out the funds.
Yeah, in 2015, it says they were over $3 billion in total value.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Wonder
For
what their end game is.
For 50,000 members?
Right.
Something's going right for them.
Well, they've got some big name people in there making billions. I mean, I don't know what Tom Cruise and is worth, or I'm sure he's donated quite a bit, and
I'm sure a lot. Yeah.
John Travolta, they're both big.
Well, they
names.
have people out there just for trying to recruit. Well, they have a name for Hollywood people, but
some sort of celebrity thing.
Yeah.
I have a list here.
Well, they have like their celebrity center.
Yeah, in Hollywood.
You're only allowed to go in if you're a celebrity.
Yeah. So some of the famous names, and some of these folks were in for a little while and then out. One surprising name at the end of this, Dave and I were kind of chit-chatting about, but Tom Cruise, probably one of the most famous. John Travolta. We've talked about Leah Remini. Danny Masterson from That 70s Show.
Oh.
You remember? He's a pothead. Well, I guess they were kind of all potheads, right? But he's the guy with the glasses all the time.
Yeah.
He's in trouble right now for raping... raping a girl or two, I think. Yeah. And the church sounds like they're kind of protecting him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing some legal stuff.
That's not surprising.
Yeah. And then Laura Prepon, she's from That 70s Show as well.
Yeah, she's
the redhead.
Yeah, from Orange is the New Black.
Donna.
Yeah, Donna.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess she was in it for a while. I'm not
Eric.
And then Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah.
Remember him?
I know, it's
he's
crazy
always such a creepy actor.
No, see, I always liked him.
I do too. Yeah, I do too.
Like he was so different from everybody else.
He's always had a weird character.
Yeah.
He's very unique. Yeah.
But you skip Kirstie Alley.
Yeah, Kirstie Alley. I'm not sure if she's still in it today. She's an interesting one just in the political realm.
Yeah.
But I don't know a whole lot, but she was on the list. Funny one from South Park, Isaac Hayes.
Who's that? I don't know who that is.
Chef.
The chef, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he left because of this stuff. Because
they were making
South
fun
Park
of it.
was making fun of, and so Scientology pressured him to leave the show. Not
surprising. Side note from that is Dave and I were watching a show. I can't remember, was it on Hulu or one of the offshoot, maybe HBO or something. But it was called The Path. Did you ever see it?
I don't think so.
It had I'm blanking on the name of the guy from Breaking Bad.
Right, Jesse from
Jesse
I don't know his real
I
name.
can't remember his
Oh,
name.
okay.
Anyways, he was one of the guys in it. They did about 3 seasons of it. It was really good, but it was sorry, my stomach's growling. It is a take on Scientology, and so much so that Scientology had them shut down.
Oh.
And so no more seasons came out. It was such a bummer because it was such a great show.
It
was very it was interesting. I really liked it.
Yeah.
They got some weight to move around.
They do.
Yeah, they really do.
Another person, Nancy Cartwright, voice of Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in it?
Yeah, but I don't know if she was
Just in it for a minute?
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the folks, I wonder how serious they were.
Well, yeah, because
involved.
they're not like.
I mean, yeah, but can you like go? You know what? I'm on step 3. I want to hang out here. I'm good to go.
Right.
No,
Well,
you got to keep going up. Like, no, I'm going to just stay stagnant. I'm good.
Well, some of the bigger names, it's because they're more vocal about it. Maybe these people just don't. They're like, okay, we're in it, but let's not tell nobody because we don't. People think we're crazy, like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, this other guy, Jason, and I can't pronounce his last
Beagle?
name. It's Beghe, and he was very vocal in the documentary Going Clear. And I've seen him in several different movies. I really like him as an actor.
Who is he? I don't know.
I have to bring up a picture and show you. But he was very, very vocal in the documentary, and he was totally into it. He said that he was going like through the levels faster than Tom Cruise, and was proud of it. Like he thought this was like his. He was sold, totally sold. And there's a picture of him. And he was totally into it, and then he started to question some stuff,
and then they were like, "Shut up."
Well, and he got he was pissed because he put so much money and time and effort into it to find out that this is all BS. He was not a happy camper.
So my question is okay, when did this guy like get into it, and how does he go? I mean, he's not young. I imagine like did he get in pre-internet or after the internet was already around? Did he not Google Scientology? Is it crazy? Or
Again, a lot of the crazy stuff about Scientology didn't exist because the members still hadn't really come out and talked negatively about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm wondering. When did he get in?
He left in 2007.
Okay, so
and
he was there for quite a while.
And
he was
13 years.
13 years. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because like if you were to go Google Scientology.
And was
then,
curious.
Like Scientology question, like even a question mark next to it, you'd probably see so much information that would be like, oh.
Nowadays, for sure. Yeah. There's a ton of stuff. Yeah. I got seriously sucked into.
Yeah.
I love this topic.
Me too.
And it's the gift that just keeps on giving. It doesn't even stop.
I know. Yeah. There's so many avenues to this. Mm-hmm.
The last person on the list was Jerry Seinfeld, and Jerry Seinfeld. I'm a big fan of his comedy. Loved him in his TV show. I like watching his comedians in car getting coffee or whatever it is. Really funny stuff.
Yeah.
But he said that. At least some interviews that he gave, he said, yeah, back in the 70s, I took some courses, but I really didn't get involved in it.
Yeah.
And which was like a big relief for me because I'm a please
don't be crazy.
Please don't be crazy.
We saw Jerry Seinfeld live.
Yep. He was fantastic.
Yeah, I really like his stuff. But, there's some other famous folks in it, but they really targeted these people.
Juliette Lewis is in it, too. She was from California, the movie California.
Yeah, I want to say that maybe her sister is married to another famous guy. Yeah, I can't remember. But, yeah, she was totally into it.
And Jenna Elfman. There's quite a bit of Hollywood in there. So it makes you wonder where their billions came from. I imagine these guys have been footing the bill for quite a while. Yeah. Well, and especially if they want to get higher up,
But how brilliant is the cult to take celebrities and make it into something that's cool?
Right.
Well, they can get big money really fast, and then they'll compete against each other because if you're a celebrity, well, you can't be down at the bottom with all the commoners. Right. You got to be up there big and be there. Just like the other guy, he was just proud that he was going up faster. That's just, it's a competition.
I do remember hearing.
It's sad. We're better than this, people.
Well, speaking of celebrities, I do remember hearing that whole jumping on the couch bit that
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that Scientology was not happy about that
Because he was acting.
He made it look like he was crazy.
Yeah,
People
and they were like,
shouldn't be looking at him crazy.
Yeah, which it's a little off.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Dave and I appreciate you listening to the show. Please take a moment and write a review on Apple Podcast or Podchaser.com. And since Spotify doesn't currently have reviews, simply telling your friends about the show would be great too. Also, you can always reach out to us at our website, nevertooserious.com, or via our socials at the NTS Podcast. And seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, thanks again for listening to the show. All right, so we haven't really talked about Shelley Miscavige. Amy, you know about the story.
Yeah, so...
Famous disappearance.
So, let me see if I get this right. So when Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes got married, which was the biggest event in Hollywood and in Scientology, because he's such a bigwig in Scientology, that everybody was invited. Everybody came. They had this huge, lavish wedding, and the David Miscavige is the guy running the show of Scientology, and his wife wasn't there. So everybody was like, interesting. The person that I know of that spoke up, I don't know who else spoke up. I imagine other people had questions, but they maybe just didn't ask them. But Leah Remini asked, where's Shelley? Why is she not here? You know, just as a normal person would ask, Dave, why is your wife not at the wedding? Blah, blah, blah.
Nobody'd ask that. They know better.
They know better.
And
like,
they basically told her to shut up and don't ask any questions, and that she wasn't anybody to be asking questions. She was not privy to this information. And she was wait a second, I'm friends with Shelley. Where is she? And I believe that was 2012. And she hasn't been seen since in public. And they have had, they've called the police about it, the FBI about it, and that people are just, Scientology, that community says she's fine. And
the police even let people know she's fine. Like they have.
Right.
So recently I've noticed that they have said that they actually believe that it was Ron that said that they actually believe that she's alive, because there was a time that they didn't even, they just don't know.
Yeah, the father-in-law.
And they actually kind of drove out to the places, what is it, out in the, what do they call it?
It's kind of out in the country in California.
Yeah, the country. I can't remember what it's called, sorry. But so they went out there, a ranch, maybe it's a ranch is what they call it. But where they think that she is actually at, and where she's been for like 13 years or something. Yeah,
there's a private investigator that was working with, I want to say it was like a 60 Minutes crew from Australia or something. And what is his name? Ortega?
Sure.
Tony Ortega?
Does that sound familiar? That name sounds familiar. I can't picture
that. Sounds like a tortilla.
Yeah, I can't remember if that's actually the guy, but these two went out to this ranch that you're talking about to get more information.
Yeah.
And I guess there's like cameras everywhere, and no one would come out and talk to them. It was just, in fact, they went to one of these other properties, and folks came out and harassed them, and put cameras in their face, and it's like a news crew with cameras in their face. It was like a reverse role.
Yes, and I think this same ranch has like bars and barbed wire, like it is.
But if I'm correct,
locked down, like nobody can get in.
There's a lot of these things, and they took them to one of the places that they thought that she could have been held. I'm not saying it's not that place, but I think that they have several of these. Ranches, facilities. Yes,
it's very weird.
Yeah,
it's very. I mean, everything about this is weird, but
if
just
she
the relationship.
Is around, sorry, did I just scream that in your ear? I'm amped up.
I don't know. And let me ask you, what's worse? Is she's alive? I mean, like if she's,
I would be.
If she's, I mean,
if she's alive, she's being treated very poorly.
I mean, I hope she's being treated well. I would just like.
But why wouldn't she be?
I hate to hear that she was killed. Right? I mean, I'm just going. I always go to the worst. But I feel that 13 years of torture, or if I'm just like I say, I go to the worst, would be worse.
Right? Unless the other option would be that she's really sick and they don't want her being seen in public because they can't go to that whole, well, you just, close your eyes and wish it away. And so that kind of puts the kibosh on. Same thing they did with L Ron Hubbard is they kind of whisked him away because he was sick and they didn't want anybody noticing that he was sick. And because,
Yeah, well, that's an interesting theory. Although he was the prophet.
Yeah.
Well, right.
But I bet Shelley has some dirt
Right.
on Scientology. I think that's the whole thing.
That's
David,
the other
for
part
sure.
of it is that Ron had actually was recorded saying that yeah, she could destroy him. She could, and I'm
Ron Miscavige.
Right.
Yeah.
And so because he's saying that because she was there all along. Well, okay. Well, I get it, but how about enlighten us? Like she was there for what all along?
Right.
Tell us what does she have maybe seen? Because I'll tell you, he would know some stuff too. I mean, I know he said some stuff, but
he's gone into great detail about the way he was treated personally by people, what he's seen happen.
Right. But like my question is like, okay, how about this? He's not in. He's still talking, and he's not in a ranch.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious.
Well, it's because
if she's in a ranch and or dead, what the hell did she see?
Right.
But there's a lot of violence, and you don't want behind the doors. And
well, I mean, Ron Miscavige was able to escape, like literally had to
call an Uber.
He was able to basically slowly pack up stuff in his vehicle night after night, and nobody was able to see it. And then he left one day. He took a left instead of a right outside of one of their gates and just hauled ass out of there and was able to get away and never look back. But
yeah, that's a similar story to some other folks that have talked about leaving.
Another big name from Scientology is Gettr Miscavige, which is David Miscavige's niece. And she also wrote a book about what was it called? My Escape from Scientology or something along those lines.
Haven't heard of her.
It was really interesting, and it'd be a great read because it talks about her being raised in it, what happened to her as a kid. I mean, it's just baffling that this congregation of people will give their kids away to these ranches at 5, 4, 6, 9, 10
long periods of time.
There was like 2 years when she didn't see her mom.
No, thank you.
And she was like 8 years old. And it's because they believe that they're not really children, that they are.
This one here is 700,000 years old.
Right. Yeah.
It's not even close to 1 billion yet.
But it was so sad hearing her story of what she had to go through as a kid growing up in it. And this is David Miscavige's niece and his father, and even his brother got out of it. And I mean, it's just the stories that these people are telling. Leah Remini's story, Mike Rinder's story. I mean, it's like one after another. And the Mike Rinder and Leah Remini's show that they did, they talked to all these ex-members, and I mean, the abuse that some of these people went through. Now that these kids are older, they have drug addictions, they're suicidal. I mean, there's so many sad stories.
And the bad, but the good thing about Mike Rindell, is that right? Rinder. He is proof because he did it.
Right.
Right. So you can't say this stuff has allegedly happened. No, I took that guy's teeth myself.
Right. Yeah. It'd be very interesting to see if she ever shows her face in public again. It's sad.
Well, at this point, no. Right.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't go, oops, there she is. Look, see, everything's good now.
Right, because they had so many opportunities. If they were going to show her back into the public, they would have done it already.
David Miscavige is like, is that clone going? Come on, I paid you good money. Let's go. Right. Let's get that clone going.
Well, it's going to be interesting because, I mean, I don't even know if the guy would want to marry again, but he can't, have another wife because his wife is supposedly still alive and
Maybe
doing
it's not
fine.
a wife he wants, and that's why she's put
Well,
away.
He's got enough money. He doesn't need to get married.
Right. I'm just saying, like, he couldn't.
He can get whatever he wants
Yeah.
from that side of his life, and it doesn't need to be public.
But, you know, like, seriously, he's got all this money. He's got all this power. And what is he doing? He's sitting in an office somewhere. Like, you're not, like, out on a yacht in the middle of the ocean enjoying life and sipping on a beer, you know?
But I'll tell you, let's say he's not. Let's say it's a actual throne. And sometimes that throne is all somebody wants. Like somebody wants a badge. That's all they want in life. And just having the power run through your veins and just sitting there thinking about.
I guess
how to
I'm
get
just
some
a
more.
different breed because I would not want that. I would rather
he's probably
just
outliving
everybody
the
leave
big
me
life.
alone.
Are you kidding me?
I think that this is
like
the
all the rest
purpose that he finds for his life. I think this is his purpose, and he's dedicated everything to it. He still makes these videos, these recruiting videos, and he's doing, you know, damage control on a lot of stuff. But here's the other thing. He's perpetuating and evolving the religion.
That's
right.
He's creating additional levels of OT. He's also manipulating, you know, what the rules are, the regulations for his followers. He's changing.
Didn't he come up with like and I could have this wrong. This could be from the TV show we watched. But didn't he come out and say, "Oh, there was 3 new levels found that L Ron Hubbard." Yeah, see, I think that was also in the show, and they were like, this is too close to Scientology. You should watch the show. It's really good.
I really think that that's part of what he's doing. I mean, he's doing a lot of different stuff to make this religion more and more solid, more and more profitable, and something that's going to be around a lot longer. Right. And I think he has to get away from, like, for instance, the Xenu creation story. My guess is that there are some other levels. Some other levels that then kind of clarify that story, add to it. My guess is that those things exist because if you get to a certain point and you go, well, this is all BS, and you're still wanting a little bit more clarification, who's going to provide that more clarification and perpetuate this thing? And it's the leader. Right. He's doing it.
Yeah.
It's got to fill that same kind of narcissism that L Ron Hubbard have.
There's some missing teeth to the gear, you know, and when people get the news of the Xenu, I think he knows they start losing people, so he's just trying to make some glue, something else that could.
It's damage control.
Well, yeah. Don't look there, look over here.
But I think you're right, Scott. I think it does fill some kind of void, like that's what he feels his whole purpose on Earth to do.
Right, because he is a special little fella. I mean, he is. Like I said in the beginning, he really is all in on this, you know, and do you
think he believes it?
Like, that's one of those things.
No, you think he's just a scam artist too?
You know?
No, I think L Ron Hubbard was believing it. I really think that he kind of got to a point in his head that this stuff was being revealed to him, like, on purpose. And I think he was really starting to believe what he was cooking up. I think David Miscavige is just a con artist. Yeah. He has seen this opportunity and he's running with it. And he's, I think, a brilliant guy to be able to do what he's done so far.
Yeah.
So,
especially to hold it all together after L Ron Hubbard passes, and then just to keep going.
It takes a lot.
And the ex-members, the internet, all of this stuff. He's doing a pretty good job.
And he got the tax. He's the one who got the tax exempt status too.
Yep, it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Any other topics or anything else you want to cover in this? Should we wrap it up?
We could wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so much.
I think it's a good. I think that should encourage anybody that wants to know more to go out and
seriously, guys,
know more.
Read Jenna Miscavige's book, Ron Miscavige's book. Watch all the Leah Remini. I mean, if you guys are interested in this, Leah Remini has put out such good footage and information, and it's just
to
really
tell
the truth, to tell the stories of the people that were hushed up, and
and hold somebody's hand when you're going down the rabbit hole, so somebody can pull you back in.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't lose sight of what
it's never ending. I think
it is never ending.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, Amy, for joining us on the show. Appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
You've been great.
It's been fun.
Those of you listening, tell a friend about the podcast. We'd love to grow the audience. You can find more information at our website, Dave?
At nevertooserious.com.
And you can reach out to us on anchor.fm and leave us a voicemail and email us at
mailbag at nevertooserious.com.
Yeah. And find some merch when you go to our website.
I got me
Dave
some.
finally got his. That's great.
I will tell you, I actually have been trying to take it off so I don't wear it out, darn it. Yeah. So
that's fun stuff.
It is fun. It's been fun to get some.
Yeah.
And happy anniversary, babe.
Yeah, you too. Our anniversary.
I feel the love in the room.
Yeah, right.
All right. Until we see you next time, take care.
And be safe.